Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my video guide to Crysis 3 multiplayer for the PC, Xbox 360, and the PS3. In most of this gameplay, you're going to see me use the Scar assault rifle with the reflex sight, foregrip, and muzzle brake attachments, using auto armor, maneuverability, and aim enhance as my suit modules. I get some max nanosuits, and I also have some vehicle gameplay coming up. The Crysis 3 single player, outside of visuals, was largely forgettable. It had predictable cliché gameplay with low budget writing, but the multiplayer on the other hand is very underrated. I think it should be more mainstream. It's by far the fastest that I've ever played. It's a big breath of fresh air from the modern military shooters that we see every day, but it's also both like and unlike other mainstream first person shooters. It incorporates great features from shooters I'm familiar with, like loadouts, customizations, diverse classes of weapons, armor abilities, killstreaks, power weapons, and vehicles, but on the other hand, their implementation is unique in and of itself, and there are various features that we haven't seen in other shooters, which I will explain in depth in this video. I'm going to organize this guide into three main sections. The first is going to be game configuration, the second is going to be the nanosuit and all the suit modules, and the third is going to be killstreaks. The configuration section of this video will only apply to PC players, but the rest of the tips apply equally to Xbox, PS3, and PC. I hope you find the following video informative. Sit back and enjoy. Section 1. The game configuration settings. From the start, Crysis 3 is missing some critical game setting modifiers. Crytek developers have created a CVAR configurator, which gives you access to many tweaks that you can make independently from the in-game settings. I've linked in the description where you can download it. It's very easy and straightforward to use, and you can now adjust game settings in more detail. Use it to send the modified settings into your Crysis 3 directory, which should be in Program Files x86, and then in Origin Games, and then Crysis 3. You can increase your field of view from the default value up to 80. Because Crysis 3 is such a fast-paced game, having a wider field of view helps you see enemies earlier and react faster to them. You should also disable mouse acceleration. The in-game menu has sensitivity adjustment settings that are generally imprecise. In the configurator, you can be even more precise according to your needs. Feel free to change other settings in the configurator as you see fit, but the following adjustment is one that you'll have to create a game file in your Crysis 3 directory for. This tweak will send the console override command to run as soon as you load the game. The default aiming down sight sensitivity is too high relative to hipfire, and other games where you have to aim down sights, like Battlefield 3 or Call of Duty, your aiming sensitivity slows down relative to your hipfire aim sensitivity. In Battlefield 3, the aiming down sight sensitivity is 65% the speed of hipfire, so I'm going to match the Crysis 3 sensitivity settings to it. Follow the instructions in the description of this video on how to save the file in your Crysis 3 directory to adjust your ADS sensitivity. Alternatively, if you don't want to use the Crysis configurator to adjust your field of view, you can save that in the game file. I'll have the console command for that as well. You can also skip the lengthy intro videos, which I'll give the console commands to. You should definitely keep the aiming sensitivity as close as you can to other shooters you play. Click on the video on screen to check how to do that. The key bindings across games should also be as close as possible. It's fun to see how well your PC can handle a graphically demanding game like Crysis, but you should tone down your graphics settings to get more frames, especially if you are playing at a 120 or high refresh rate monitor. I definitely recommend getting a 120Hz refresh rate monitor if you are into competitive multiplayer. There is a noticeable improvement in the smoothness of gameplay, especially on faster games. If you do have a monitor that can display that many frames, your aim will improve and you'll react faster. Interestingly enough, the motion blur graphics option gives further support of the relevance of high frame gaming, because the blur is supposed to fill in and smooth out the action that you're not seeing in between frames on a low refresh rate monitor. I play at all medium settings across the board to consistently get me over 120 frames. Section 2. The Nanosuit. The most distinctive part of the Crysis series of games is what your character wears into combat, his nanosuit. There are two modes, armor mode and stealth mode. To activate either, use the bumpers if you're playing on console, or use whatever keybinds you want if you're on PC. I like to set my suit modes as my mouse side buttons for quick access. When you're in armor mode, you can take more than double the damage you would be able to usually, and you're immune from fall damage. However, you move much slower, but there is a way to counter this, as I'll explain in a second. In stealth mode, your character is cloaked and near invisible, with only a few suit outlines that experienced players can easily make out. Stealth mode is timed, and your energy to remain in stealth mode drains faster when shooting or sprinting. Use this mode intelligently to flank enemies, sneak up on objectives, or line up the perfect bow shot. Knowing when to use each suit mode, for example armor mode before heavy firefights and stealth to get the jump on enemies, is vital to game tactics. When selecting your loadout, there are several suit modules that stand out far above the rest. Suit modules are like perks in other games. One of the strongest is auto armor. You can move around in regular suit mode and armor will automatically activate for you when you are taking damage. The game has faster reactions than you and this will save your life. Using regular suit mode and moving is a lot more effective than always being in armor mode because you move slower in armor mode. Be careful though that auto armor does not engage while in stealth mode and you still will have to activate armor manually. Mobility is also a critical suit module to make for most classes. Your base movement speed will increase. The second tier makes you grab ledges and bolt faster, and the third tier gives you no fall damage. As fast as Crysis 3 plays, you need to do everything you can to play faster and keep up with the pace of the game. Other strong suit modules include Weapon Pro, which will give you faster reload times, aiming times, and weapon switching times. For high recoil weapons, I use Aim Enhance, which reduces recoil when aiming down sights. It is definitely worth your while to level up Heavy Weapon Pro, which allows you to move faster while using a power weapon found around the map, and the final level of the perk gives you more ammunition for these insanely strong weapons. The Retriever module works well for long-range classes. Retriever automatically picks up dog tags for you so you don't have to go across the map to get them. Dog tags contribute to building your kill streak, which I'll get to in a minute. The second level of Retriever reduces the number of dog tags needed for each kill streak, and the last tier makes kill streaks last longer. Adjust these suit modules to your playstyle, but I highly recommend using auto armor and mobility in as many classes as you can. Section 3. Killstreaks. By now, a lot of modern shooters have a way of implementing rewards for consecutive kills or objective points. Crysis 3 forces you to build up your score streak by picking up the dog tags of enemies you kill. When you kill someone, on their dead body will be their glowing tags. If a teammate kills an enemy, you can't pick up his dog tag like you can in Kill Confirmed in Call of Duty. I really like this mechanic for score streaks, as it encourages a lot of map movement. 3 dog tags collected without dying will give you maximum radar, which reveals enemy locations for a short while. With 5 consecutive dog tags, you will either get a swarmer or an orbital strike, depending on whether the map has open skyline or not. A swarmer fires flurries of rockets that you can guide towards targets. Personally, I don't use this kill streak, as the lethality of rockets are not worth the slower movement speed you suffer. The orbital strike launches concentrated gamma radiation from a ship. This is useful for locking down objectives. It should get you 1 to 2 kills on the average, but my effectiveness rating is only 50% at the moment. 7 dog tags will get you an EMP or a Ceph gunship in an open map. The EMP disables enemy nanosuits for a little more than 10 seconds. This means that they can't use stealth or armor. The Ceph gunship patrols the map looking for targets to shoot, but it itself is rather easy to take down. The final kill streak requires 10 dog tags in a row, and it gets you max nanosuit, which replenishes your ammo, suit energy, and gives you near invulnerability for a short period. This about summarizes the important basics of Crysis 3 multiplayer. Future Crysis 3 videos will have me breaking down weapons and the best attachments for them, and I'll also review different game modes. In addition, my next videos on Crysis 3 will talk more about advanced combat tactics such as power weapons, vehicles, and combat tricks. We don't have any official weapon stats outside of in-game testing yet, so once those stats are available, my individual weapon breakdowns will definitely benefit. I really appreciate you watching this commentary all the way through. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I hope I help you get the most out of your Crysis 3 experience. Thanks again guys, my name's David and I'll see you next video.